tonight. I've got big shoes to fill. I spoke to Erin during the week and said, you do such an amazing job. I don't know whether I can do such an amazing job, but anyhow, I'm sure I can, as we all can, if we had to step up. So what a great week. I really enjoyed week 3 of the 90-day game plan, and so many amazing stories being shared, and 30-second stories that I've watched today. There were loads of them that all popped up. So I hope that everyone has really enjoyed last week on that focus on presenting. You've managed to download ISA tools, and you're getting some great success from that. And then launch parties. My God, there's been launch parties left, right and centre, and just amazing results. It's one of those things that some nights are hot and others you get lots of people coming, and others not a huge turnout, but what I guess everyone's done is really to be able to take advantage of whoever's there. Claire and I had a launch party during the week, which turned more into a training session, but I certainly hope that everyone enjoyed the practice of the preparation, and Suzanne did such a great job on how she hosts the launch party, and hope you were able to put all of those handy hints into place, and it's one of those things that the more you practice, the better you get at them anyhow. So a huge week last week. How many of you have registered for Healthy Mind and Body? Did everyone jump on and, yeah, fantastic. I love it. I did it when it first launched, and have gone back to redo. So is fantastic, and certainly is a tool that I use a lot with particularly those that have got a huge weight loss goal, that really it's mindset shift that needs to happen. So the other thing too, also the weight loss ISA movie, hopefully you've managed to be able to watch that and saw the benefit of being able to send that out to 10 people, and hopefully have come back with some interest on that. So a huge week of week 3, but now as we head into week 4, momentum certainly starting to pick up. So to kick off tonight, the focus for this week is dealing with objections, and for those of you who may not have jumped on earlier, very excited to be able to have a fabulous guest speaker who I didn't get to come on board, but Crystal, I had an amazing, loved, as everyone else has said, seeing you at Celebration. So I'm going to throw over to Kerry Potas now, as for those of you who it's your first week on, or you've watched some previous Zoom calls that we've had for the 90-day game plan for Team Elevate. As you know, Kerry, no real introduction required, but will absolutely share 3-star Crystal executive who does an amazing job for us, and I think from everyone. Kerry, thank you so much for the motivation and inspiration that you give to us, and really being instrumental with that group of leaders in this team to really be pushing and driving and helping us with our business. So I'm going to throw over to you to get started with tonight's special guest.
Thank you, Ange. Well done. Beautiful introduction. Great recap of last week, and fantastic seeing all the launch parties and 30-second stories in our group. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So we'll get straight into it. Tonight, I'm absolutely thrilled to introduce our special guest, who you probably all know by now is Crystal Wilson. Crystal and I met I think in Cambodia for the first time ever. We've done a few ISA Derby trips together. I met Crystal and her beautiful partner Bruce, and have seen her journey through Isagenix over the last almost 2 years, almost the same amount of time as I've been in Isagenix. and just absolutely love Crystal's energy. And I invited her to come on the call tonight. She's absolutely not financially linked with me or Lauren, so it's just a pleasure to see that Crystal embodies the one team aspect of Isagenix. So we really thank you for that, Crystal. But before we hear from you, I just want to tell everybody a bit about your background. So you spent about 5 years, I believe, working with Australia's largest timeshare sales office as their regional sales manager. Crystal also said no to Isagenix for over a year, like many of us have been pretty skeptical. But when she finally said yes, She jumped on board in June 2014, which is the same month that I jumped on board too. And she reached Crystal Executive in 90 days. So she handed in her resignation from her job in September of 2014, and she's been going gung-ho since then. She's been fortunate enough to win 3 ISA Derby trips that I've also been on with her: Cambodia, San Diego, and Hawaii. And also, which I didn't go on, but she was the President's Quest. So she got to hang out with Kathy Coover and all the high flyers, which is pretty damn cool, around the Mediterranean. And her partner and herself, they're living their dream. They're fueled by their commitment to help others, and I think that's amazing. And they are 4-star Golden Circle, 1-star Crystal Executives. So welcome to the call and the Zoom call tonight, Crystal. Thank you so much for coming on.
My pleasure.
Yeah, you're awesome, and we love you. Well, I love you specifically. The others will love you after this next 30 minutes. Hey, Crystal, first, I think it's probably best if we kick off and hear your story, just a short version of. I know, we've only got about half an hour with you, and thank you for that, but just a quick version and we'll get stuck into the objections part.
Yeah. So I definitely spent a year researching Isagenix, and in that time I was prospected by quite a few different people. About 4 different people. And it just wasn't, for whatever reason, it just, I think it all comes down to who you resonate with. So there was no reason that I didn't enroll with them. It just wasn't the right time. And then I went and got my hair done by a hairdresser, and she was doing a cleanse. And I was like, don't even tell me you're doing bloody Isagenix. Like, oh my God. It got to the point where, for me, it was like the universe was slapping me on the face with it. It was like, what are you doing? When are you going to say yes? Like, everywhere I went, I was like, someone would be wearing an Isagenix t-shirt or a drink bottle, and I'd be like, oh my God, it's like following me around. So when I went to the hairdresser and she said she was doing a cleanse, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to do it. Like, I can't ignore this anymore. And she'd had just been enrolled by Jackson Parr, and she connected us she connected me straight with Jackson Parr. And he kind of drove to my house and drew out the comp plan. And because I'd spent a year researching it, initially I was interested in just the products, but, I was really looking for something to set me free. I worked in timeshare. If anyone's ever been to a timeshare presentation, you know how horrible they are. Well, I was that person who used to get $25,000 out of people in 90 minutes and not give them more than 3 minutes to think about it. And it was just something that was just slowly killing my soul. So I was looking for something to, at 30, I just didn't want to do that till I was 70. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm 30 and I've got to do this till I'm 70. And they keep bumping up the retirement age. I'm going to be 80. So by the time I joined, I was looking at the business. I had been researching the business. And when I met Jackson, he was like 24 and he was the rank that I am now. And he was sitting on my couch and he was earning, $4.5, $5 a week or something. And he wasn't a superhero. He was just like this, like I expected like someone at 24 who's earning that much money to be like, amazing. And Jackson's amazing. He's beautiful. But I mean, he was just a kid, He's just a guy and just a friendly guy. So when he sat on my couch, I was like, oh my God, I can do this and I can kill it. Like I can do really, really well in it. So Jackson, mentored us, and the rest is history. When I started, I didn't screw around. I was like, I treated this like a business from the moment I started, and I just went for it because I didn't want to go to work anymore, and my whole goal was to replace my income as quickly as possible. And I did that. It was about 3.5 months that I was able to hand in my resignation, which is pretty surreal. Like I still pinch myself that even happened.
Oh, that's bloody awesome. And I love the way that you say this 24-year-old kid was sitting on your couch, and look at him now. He's a millionaire a few down the track. But
if anyone knows Jack, he's just so humble. Like he's humble. He's just really sweet. He's not some superstar salesperson or knows all these tricks. He's just someone who leads with the heart and just like a nice person. Like it doesn't have any special superhero skill and that's what I was like, oh, okay, yeah, totally. Let's do this.
Yeah, leads from the heart, and just, it's not some superhero. And that's what we all need to hear, that this is available for everybody. So the reason I asked you on the call tonight was because I heard you on Warren Lance's podcast, the Take Action podcast, which is going to be one of the tasks for all of us to listen to the full podcast, because I think it was absolutely amazing. And I'm sure tonight you're going to say some things that are on the podcast, but we might squeeze some other bits and pieces out of you that you didn't say. So the first thing I really loved when Warren kind of said, you don't have a problem with objections at all. You actually really love objections. And that's pretty foreign to most of us, because as soon as someone throws an objection at us, sometimes, especially at first, we go, what do I say now? So tell us why you really love objections.
I think it's just the way that I perceive them. And obviously coming from timeshare, you can imagine like people would walk in the door and already be pissed off and hating me. I'd not even give me a chance to like me. So, I come from a place where I had to deal with a lot of objections, and people think timeshare is one big scam. So, I did a lot of training over the time that I was in timeshare. The reason what I have learned is that you cannot, and I'm going to use sales language, which might be a bit much, but that's just know that that's just the industry that I come from. So you cannot close somebody, but you cannot get a yes from somebody unless you have overcome their objections. So also, when someone is giving you an objection, it's them letting you know that they trust. They're saying, I trust you enough to let you know why I'm concerned. And if they're telling you that concern, their objection, they're actually inviting you to overcome it. They're saying, hey, look, I'm interested, but this is where I'm stopping at. This is the thing that's getting me. And they're asking you to overcome it. But what most people do is they get an objection and your energy and frequency changes because you see it as a negative thing. They're not interested, but it actually is what I call buying questions. So every time you get an objection, change the way you think about it. It's actually your person giving you a buying question. Like, this is what I'm concerned about. Please overcome it so that we can move on, if that makes sense. Yeah. So I did this training for Alan's team before I did the Warren Lance call. And, for me, it's like second nature, but it was just overwhelming how many people were just blown away. Just that the objection is not a negative thing. It's a positive thing. In fact, if you're not getting objections in your conversation, you're nowhere near it. Like the person is nowhere near saying yes to you. And people are just like, oh my God, now they look at them differently. When they get objections, they're like, yes, I've got an objection. That means I call it a live one. So when I start getting objection after objection, I'm like, this person's going to buy. You know what I mean? Like, they're so on the road to buying to getting that yes. So it's just about changing the way you think about it. It's actually a very positive thing.
It is cool because when we think about it, anything that we buy, we want to ask questions. I went to buy a mattress today and we went to two different salespeople. The first one, she didn't even ask me the question. She just kept telling me why the bed was so good. But the second one was asking me all these questions and I was coming back and saying, well, no, it makes me hot, it makes this. And then he was just kept on drilling down and drilling down. So I can see how, that's a really cool thing to make sure that you get objections. And if you're not getting objections, what normally happens? They just go, don't they? They just they're just saying yes to you.
Yeah, kind of most commonly people get I call it agreeable owl. So my worst nightmare is not someone who's giving me heaps of objections. It's someone who's just yep, send me some info. That is the worst thing because they are so not there. They're just what's the word I'm going to use? They're just kind of
pushing you up.
Pushing you up. They're just yeah, send me some info. Or yes, all these yeses. And you think you've got a live one. And then they're like, oh, no, it's not for me when you ask them. And because you had no objections, you get to the end and you have absolutely no idea why they didn't say yes because they just said yes for 45 minutes. So, if I'm in that kind of conversation, I'm actually bringing up, well, how do you feel about, I'll actually try and bring up, how do you feel about shapes? Do you feel like I'm trying to bring up the objections? Because when someone's not giving you objections, there's multiple reasons why. But for most people, I think we all lead with the heart. So they probably like you and don't want to upset you. So they're not going to give you objections and they're just going to say yes. And then just be like, oh yeah, I haven't looked at it yet. No, I haven't watched the video yet. And it's just this, and it's that's not even following up. That's you haven't even, they're nowhere near where you need them to be. So yeah, it's all about objections. I'm I want them. If I'm not getting them, I'm okay, this person doesn't know and trust me. They're not really telling me, what's going on.
I love that. I love that you're actually trying to get the objection out of them because I've had exactly that because people don't want to upset me. So, you've got to ask them, so how do you feel about shakes? Think about, how do you feel about paying $19 a day? Try and bring out the price objection. So what sort of other questions would you use to kind of drill deep into trying to find those objections?
Let me think. It depends, obviously, like on a conversation. I wouldn't say that I have that a lot, because obviously my nature is I'm constantly looking for them, but it's just a matter of, I don't know how to answer that question. I'm just gonna be really honest with you. I don't know if it's I've got like examples that I can go through, but like it depends on the conversation who I'm talking to.
Yeah, let's do some examples. That'll be really cool. That'll give us examples of some of the questions.
Okay, so like the shake objection, like I get that pretty often. I probably get that more than price, to be honest with you. Oh, it shakes. Or so for this, oh no, I just lost you all. Hold on.
No, you're still there. We can see you.
I am? Okay.
Yeah.
Just give me 2 seconds. So I'm just going to talk and try and I'll get Bruce. So the shake objection, I get that a lot. And so when someone says, like for example, I don't like shakes, you like, what does that even mean? Do you know what I mean? Like you need to kind of ask more questions. So I'd be like, okay, well, what about shakes don't you like? Or what shakes have you done in the past? Is it the texture? Is it the taste? Like what exactly is it about shakes that you don't like? A lot of people they'll say, I don't like shakes, and they kind of just go, okay, well, that they're not going to ever do Isagenix, but you haven't actually found it. Like that's not the objection. The objection is somewhere you've got to find it. So it's like third level questioning. So like, what exactly don't you like about shakes? And they might go, well, actually, I'm dairy intolerant. You know what I mean? And that was the real objection. But because you never went there, you just think they don't like shakes. And you can say, well, actually, shakes are 99.9% lactose free, and then you've overcome it. So there's, I might even ask, are you vegan? I might ask, well, are you vegan? Is that why you don't like shakes? So trying to find out what the real reason is, because I don't like shakes is not an objection. It's like, doesn't even mean anything. It could mean 100 different things. And I think it's just then asking what that means. Why, until you get to, and then you just keep overcoming each one. And then you're going to get to that it's overcome, and then you just need to close it off. So once if I say, I don't like shakes, actually it's because I don't like dairy, I'm allergic to dairy, then you overcome that. Then you go, now that you know that the shakes are actually 99.9% lactose free, do you feel that these shakes, you'll be comfortable on these shakes? And they're going to say, oh, yes. So then you've got the objection, you've overcome it, and you've wrapped it up in a bow, and then you can move on. So it's important to follow that kind of process as well.
Yeah, that's cool. That's what I got out of your call as well, your process. The secret formula is in the call that Crystal's done with Warren. So everybody listen to that, because that's the secret formula. And she'll give you the step-by-step. We won't go into every step tonight, but just these examples are great. We've had someone just asked the question, the I already eat clean food, or, I eat organic already, something like that. What would you say how would you kind of deal with that objection?
Okay, cool. I've just got my example written out here from the presentation. I love this one. So,
because so many people use that one. I mean, we live in that society now where especially young people want to be healthy, and they already are being healthy and with what they eat.
So when somebody says, I already eat clean, again, that to me tells me that they don't understand our product. Do you know what I mean? Because if they really understood our product, then that you wouldn't be getting that objection. So they don't understand our product, or it's an excuse. They're trying to blow you off. So basically then how you overcome that is, I'll just kind of read this example to you. It's probably easier. So
go for it.
So obviously felt, found. I understand how you feel. Before I did my research, I felt the same way as you. You always want to try and relate to them. I honestly thought that eating clean was enough, but what I found was, even though I was eating clean, I was still really low in energy and not really sleeping. And I generally just didn't feel like my body was functioning at optimum level. It's really frustrating, and I was doing everything that I was told to do to be healthy, regular exercise, eating clean. And I didn't understand why I was feeling this way until I started to learn about the one thing that I couldn't control, which is actually our toxic environment. So I'm going to lead them to where I want them to go. You're the leader in the conversation. So whoever's asking the questions is actually the person who's in control of the conversation. So I'm going to lead them there, because eating clean, yes, you can be raw, organic, clean eater, but that you cannot change your environment. And it doesn't matter, you're still going to be living in a toxic environment. So then I asked them, do you know much about how toxic our environment has become. It's really scary. Just gonna ask them a question, they're gonna write back no. And then I kind of go into it. Do you know what I mean? Like the average person exposed to over 80,000 chemicals, only 300 of which have been tested for our safety. It's really gross. Have you thought about what those things might be doing to your health? How is your sleep? How is your energy? How would you rate them out of 10? And most people are going to come back at a pretty low number. And then I might say, well, you're eating clean, you're exercising. So now that you kind of know this information, do you feel that maybe your environment, which you can't control, is affecting, your sleep, your energy, your moods? They'll say, oh, yes. Do you know what I mean? So I'm kind of leading them, do you know what I mean? Can you see what I'm doing? Leading them to where I want to go. Because I think it's hard when someone is like, I already eat clean. If you start like getting into that, like people are very proud about nutrition, don't you reckon? Like people are just so passionate. They don't know anything about it. People are really funny about how they look after their body. So I don't really want to get into that and say, no, you don't, and start having a conversation about how Isagenix is better than what you're doing. I'm going to lead them to somewhere that I actually can show them why our product is better. Then you would send, are you toxic? And then you're having a conversation about, you're not even talking about they eat clean anymore, because I've overcome that and I'm showing them what's really going on in their environment. That's just like one way that I could do it. There's like obviously lots of different ways. That's what I just kind of had written out when I was talking to Warren.
So one thing that you also said in the call was there's some statistics around how many objections you actually need to overcome before somebody is ready to buy or ready to say yes. And those statistics, I know that I actually wrote them down myself as well. They were just your sale. They weren't Isagenix statistics. They weren't net marketing. They're like sales statistics. Yep. Can you share those with us?
Yeah, so 44% of people will give up after the first objection. 22% of people will give up after the second objection. 16% of people will give up after the third. 10% of people will give up after the fourth. And only 8% of people will continue after the fourth objection. And the kicker is 73% of your prospects will buy after their overcome their fourth objection. So, wow. It's kind of like the whole follow-up thing. You've got to follow up X amount of times. So same thing with objections. Like you can't give up. You've got to overcome it. Or send them a tool or what have you, or get them on a 3-way call if it's something that you're unable to answer. But yeah, it's really important that you see them in a positive light and be looking for them, and then you overcoming them. And then it's really important when you overcome them, because if you don't kind of wrap it up in a little bow, that objection, it's still open. So just to go back to the, do you eat clean? The way I overcame that was, did that answer your question about why you would still want to cleanse with this system as well as continue to eat clean? And then they're going to write, yes, it did answer my questions. And then I wrap that up, that objection's been overcome and we can move on. But if I didn't do that and I didn't get a yes, then it's still open. They could still be worrying about that or not fully have had their questions answered.
Awesome. I love that. I love that wrap up thing. And you explain that more in the call, as I said. Yeah. One thing that I'm sure people want to hear from you tonight is how you overcome the price objection. I know that you probably don't get it as much, and I know that you don't talk about price unless it's towards the end of like the whole process. But can you run us through a little, just quickly? We've got a few more minutes.
Yeah. You're so fun, Doll. It's so fun. So look, the thing about the price objection, this might shock people, there is no such thing as a price objection. It doesn't exist. Okay, so there is such thing as it being genuinely unaffordable for somebody and somebody not having $600. But when someone's giving you a price objection, it might look like this: it's too expensive. So that's them saying to you, I've got $600, but you haven't shown me value as to why I would want to spend $600. So not having the money and it being too expensive are two completely different things. And if you're getting it's too expensive and you've done your presentation and you've done price, because price is always step 10, it's always the last step, and you're getting it's too expensive, then you've missed the mark on that one. And it's very hard to overcome it at that point, because there's either not enough trust, you haven't built the relationship, you haven't talked about their goals and gone third level with that, you haven't discovered their dominant buying motive. So it's very hard at that point, at the end of the presentation, to then overcome it. the key is to get really, really good at building relationships and really connecting with people. And your presentation should be 90% about them, their goals, what's been going on for them. Don't even talk about product. There have been people that I have done my process with and they have no idea it's Isagenix, because it doesn't matter. Like, people don't give a shit about that box. They don't care about the shapes. They don't care about the products. You'll have 1% of people who want to know everything, but I'm telling you, 90% of people just want to know if this is going to fix their pain. And people are very scared to get into a conversation about their pain. You want to bypass that and talk about the shakes and how much sugar and cleanse days. And I promise you, if you're doing a lot of that, you're missing the mark with people. This is a relationship business. It's all about getting deep and connecting with people, which you are all naturally built to do. Unfortunately, life comes along and things happen and we get scared to go there with people. So, yeah, price is a hard one. I love trading on it because I'm like, there's no such thing if you at that point. But price, it's the price. That could mean it's too expensive. I can buy it cheaper elsewhere. So you've got to then again find out what that means. So I had a girl I was in a three-way with, and I was told that she was too expensive for her. And I asked her, what exactly about this program is too expensive for you? Do you not have the money to purchase it, or do you feel it's too expensive? And then she went into, look, I'll be really honest with you. I've just separated from my partner. I've got no job right now, and I've done a budget, and I don't know how I'm going to survive. And I was like, now I have something to work with. You know what I mean? Now we've connected. She shared with me. So now I'm going, okay, cool. Look, let's get on a call. I really want to share with you what I've done in the last 2 years. I think this would be amazing for you. If I could show you how you can get these products for free, would that be an option for you to help you get started? And then going forward, if we help you make a little bit of extra money on the side, would that help you? And she's like, absolutely. Do you know what I mean? So now, you see what I'm saying? Like, if I had just gone, oh, it's too expensive and not asked those questions, she would have been gone. And she really needs this. It could mean that they're not convinced, and it could mean they don't have the money. So if someone says, if I get to price objection, it's like, oh no, I can't afford that. Then I'm going to go, okay, well, what could you afford? Be the first question. What could you afford? People say, oh, maybe $200. Okay, awesome. Okay, I'll work out a savings plan with them. So, one of my girls, May, she saved for 6 months. Literally her saving plans were like $25 a week or something. It was like low, but I didn't, my goal is to serve and help people. So I don't care if you've got the money today. I don't care if you've got the money in 6 months or a year. Like, I kept that relationship alive. She joined, she lost 24 kilos, and now she's one of my builders. Someone who saved for 6 months. So I work out a savings plan for them. Yeah, so price to me isn't the end, but if they're saying to you, oh, it's too expensive, they're not sold. Do you know what I mean? You've lost them somewhere in the presentation, and you can try and go back, but it's once that happens, people close off, and it is very difficult to overcome the not too expensive. They just say, nah, not sold. Give me the information. It's not for me. Thanks, bye. So you just give them some space and come back to them and work on them later.
So do you do a lot of that through Facebook, or by that time you're already on the phone with them?
It depends. Do you know what I mean? Like, it really depends on the person. Like, my goal is to get everyone on the phone. I'll give price in a messenger, and I'll also do it on the phone. It just depends on the person. I try to get everyone on the phone, but then unfortunately the world we live in is people like to hide behind their computers. So I just like to meet people where they're at. But if you're not taking it offline, you want to be really, really, really good at being able to connect through Messenger. So I think that's where people struggle. They're trying to do it through Messenger, and you're not really connecting. So send a voice message then, instead. People need to hear your voice. So yeah, you've got to be really good at being able to connect via Messenger. And the best way to do that is talk how you would normally talk. So like, when I write a message, it's just like, I'm like, oh, when I talk exactly how I would talk if I was on the phone to them, if that makes sense. Like, oh, is what I would say. So they can get a sense of me and my passion and authenticity and, who I am.
That's awesome. Hey, listen, just to finish off with, can I ask you, I know that you believe there's only 3 objections that absolutely cannot be overcome. Just 3 objections. Can you share with us those 3? Because everything else, obviously, in your belief and your posture, is absolutely overcomable.
Absolutely. So the first one is medical. So obviously if someone has a medical condition or their doctor hasn't said that Isagenix is right for them, that's nothing I would never even attempt to overcome. So that's the first one. It's like something that you just don't overcome. The next is location. Obviously if they're in the UK, we're not in the UK yet. So that's going to be an objection that you can't overcome. And the third is religion. So if someone has a religious belief, I'm not very religious, but I'm sure there are things out there that people why they wouldn't do this. But then, I wouldn't out of respect and, I'm not going to try and overcome them or challenge their religion. They're the only three. Like everything else, shakes, I eat clean, too much sugar, dairy, blah, 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 all that bullshit that people tell you, all of that is overcomable. I promise, Scouts Honour. But it's just about developing that skill.
Awesome. And that brings me to, this is my last question. How did you develop that skill? Because, some of us come into the business with certain skills, and I think you've come into obviously the business with a few years of the timeshare skills behind you. So how did you develop those skills, and what would you suggest to people who don't possibly have those skills at this point? What would be the best way for them to learn?
Look, yeah, I'm not born with these skills. Like Kerry's not born being, you probably are, but she's not born being like a gold medal athlete. She had to train. Do you know what I mean? She was training. So like even with objections, like if that's where you're coming up against most in your conversations, you get an objection, you don't know how to overcome it, and then it like kind of fumbles, then I challenge you, how many podcasts have you listened to about overcoming objections? How many books have you read about overcoming objections? Like I wasn't born with this skill, just like Kerry wasn't born with her skill. Do you know what I mean? She had to develop it. So being in timeshare for 5 years, I had to overcome objections. So I would read books and podcasts and go to every training I possibly could, because the better that I could become at overcoming objections, the more people I would be able to sell to, and that was how I worked on straight commission. So that was my only option. So same thing in this, there's this book. I've actually got it on my desk. I'll show you right now. I actually have this book from Timeshare. Isn't it so funny? Like in Timeshare, Big Al and Zig were like our main men in timeshare. So all the training of those gurus that we all listen to in network marketing, it's so weird. I had no idea when I was reading their books in timeshare that they had anything to do with network marketing. So this one, The Secrets to Closing the Sale. And Big Al has so many books about, look at me, I'm like studying all the time. Susan Sly has an amazing book, which is specific to Isagenix, which is, Overcoming Objections, I think it is, with Susan Sly. It's in ISA Sales Tools. Like that's an incredible. It gives you actual like objections that you would get based on our product and how she would overcome them. Obviously, with America though, a lot of their objections are based around business, not a lot of product objections. But you'll still learn. Do you know what I mean? You know, like I believe that you know how to overcome them. You all believe in these products. You've all had an amazing product experience. So when someone says to you, I don't like shakes, like you know how to overcome that. Like it's not a skill. You just have to be brave enough to challenge the person and overcome it. That makes sense, rather than going, oh, they don't like it. So you all have that skill, but I would definitely learn to develop it.
Awesome! God, we love you. That was fantastic. Hey, I just want to know, what are those things on your back wall? What have you got stuck up behind you?
This is my office.
Yeah.
So this is my calendar for the year.
Ah.
Yeah, and then I've got all my boards, my vision board, and then ISA Derby.
You.
And that one.
Yeah. Hey, what are the headings on your boards? You don't have to show us, but what are the headings on your boards down on the ground? So rank advancement. So people in my downline that I'm working with to help rank advance. And I work with, the way I run my business is there's no such thing as personally enrolled. Every single person in my downline is my personally enrolled. And I've got my auto sheets, my business builders on my left and right. Inactive. So I've got a board of inactive people who I want to get back in contact with, talk about new product, and kind of get them back on Isagenix. And a hot list. Yeah. That's all fantastic. And you've got scripts written up in front of you and stuff as well. And, you know, it's just amazing to see that, to get to where you are and having got there so quickly, you are professional. You're absolutely professional. And that's what we need to understand. If we want to have a professional salary, we have to do professional work and be as organised and obviously as driven and competitive too, to go to Isoderby as well. Woohoo! You going to Vegas?
If you've got 2 seconds, I've done a couple of training calls for other teams, and I just want to share this one thing with you, because I've had so many people come back to me with such amazing feedback, and I feel it'd be a disservice not to share it with you.
Yeah.
We all go through periods where you just feel like it's just not happening. Do you know what I mean? You don't want to talk to people anymore. You know what I mean? You just get in this space where you're just like, ah. So I have had many of those periods. And a couple of weeks ago, I remembered something that I used to do when I first started this business. It's always getting back to basics. Basically, has everyone read The Secret? Or knows about The Secret? I read I listened to the first half an hour. But in that first half an hour, I got a lot. And Rhonda, anyway, doesn't matter. Every morning, from the moment she wakes up to the moment she was getting into her car to go to work, she would say thank you hundreds of times. And she was saying thank you for what she already had. And when I speak to a lot of people, they are always chasing the next cycle, the next rank, the next PIB. It becomes about getting, and taking from people, not serving. So I was in a really patch, and we're in Derby, and I was like, shit, I need to get my shit together. So I started practicing my thank yous again. And I just do it in the shower. So every time I get in the shower, that is my time to do my thank yous, and I thank for what I already have. And we went from no enrollments in like 4 weeks to 7 in 1 week. And my team have just started doing it, and one of my team's about to go 4-star this week, and they've enrolled 7. So if you're feeling a little bit stuck, get in the shower tonight, say thank you for this business, thank you for Kerry, thank you for this call, thank you for everything you've already achieved in your business. And it's just so crazy how you can change the frequency of your life and your business by doing that.
Oh my God, I'm tearing up. 'Cause I'm thinking of being in the shower and all the things that I'm thankful for. Thank you so much, Crystal.
My
You're
pleasure.
amazing. You're absolutely amazing. We'll let you go. Thank you so much. I love you. Mwah.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Say bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Crystal.
Thank
Mwah,
you.
mwah, mwah.
Bye.
Oh my gosh, that was
Wow, she's amazing. So many notes that I've written here. My God, I just want to be able to shoot them out to all of the team. But there's a couple of things. I love that she only thinks that there's 3 objections, and it's so true. And just that whole questioning technique of just really delving in and listening and making it about the person rather than ourselves. So, and I love getting them on the phone. It's just, hiding behind social media. It is just to hear a voice. So, I mean, we hear people say this all the time, but, she does the do. And I just love, she's so real. What you see is what you absolutely get with Crystal. The one thing she did talk about was I've spent a lot of time this week with on the Susan Sly website and have, in fact, ordered her book. So another great tool. Again, Crystal uses her. So can't wait to get in the shower and do all those thank yous. Where all that greatness comes, and coming into the business. So fantastic. Thank you guys for organising that, because she is truly amazing. So to follow on after the objections, I wanted to now ask Kerry if she can actually share with us getting to that why. So following on from where Crystal was out of, why is somebody wanting to know about Isagenix? And obviously this is one thing that Kerry's extremely good at with her years of questioning and interviewing. So she's going to share with us getting to people's why, but then also to be able to just that whole connection. So, Kerry, if I can pass over to you and to also share the new associate checklist and how you're using that.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Ange. Look, I think the biggest way of getting to someone's why is actually asking why. Why? Every time they come up with something, just say why. Why? Make use of that word over and over again. When they say something to you like, I want to lose 10 kilos. Why? So I can fit into my dress. Why? So I look good for my husband. Why? So he wants to be with me every night, when the lights go out. Why? No, you don't have to go past that. But just, keep asking why. It's like peeling the layers of an onion, and that's how to get to someone's why. But what we have, which is a fantastic, what we have is a fantastic tool that Isagenix have made for us. And I just want a show of hands, actually. Who uses the new associate checklist? Who actually uses a new associate checklist? Be honest. If you don't worry. I haven't used it specifically as a form, but after doing what I did tonight, I'm actually going to use it more. I'm going to print them out for each one. So let me just share my screen and quickly go through it with you. So the first thing that you want to know is that the new associate checklist is actually in ISA FYI. I found it by just Googling basically new associate checklist. So with anything to do with Isagenix, before you send a PM to your upline, before you put a note in Team Elevate or anything, like where is this, where can I find that, just bloody Google it, because Google's fantastic. So I just wrote new associate checklist and it came straight up. So the first page of the new associate checklist, it's all about a record of your conversation with your with your cleanser, I should say, because by now they are signed up and they're using Isagenix. So this is your record. And we said before with Crystal, saw how organized she was with her office and all the things that all the lists and boards that she's got. So I'm sure she's using the new associate checklist, and she's got a record of every conversation that she has with people. So the first page you can see is just your record of conversations that you have with your people. And as you enroll more and more people, this is going to be really important, because you'll forget. Let me tell you, I enroll quite a few people and I often forget. So I have actually been using just my enrollment form and writing on the back of that. I'm going to start scrubbing that. I'm not going to use an enrollment form anymore, because I actually don't even send it out to people. I get most people's details on the phone. I'm just going to start using my new associate checklist. So in saying that, I'm actually going to print out 10 to start with, and that's going to be one of our tasks today, because if you want something in your life, you have to be ready for it. So if you want people to enroll, why not have 10 fresh new associate checklists ready to go? You don't have to print all 7 pages, but just print at least one page that you can start off with when you start talking to people about their why. So the first page is all about your record with them. The second page is just your checklist. So once you do enroll somebody, it's just about going through the checklist and going, yep, I've sent them a welcome email. Yep, I've hooked them up with isaproduct.com so they can check out what's in the products if they want to know more about the products. Yep, I've sent them an ISA movie. Yep, I've told them about isagenixbusiness.com if they're interested in the business. You've set a time, a welcome call. You've told them maybe to call you when their box arrives. You might have a third person on that call, and you've also got them involved in all of our social media groups. So any team calls like we're having tonight, if they're interested in the business, or the Facebook group Better Body and Soul, which you've all put your cleansers in, I hope. Then you're going to start to drill down. Have you talked to them about their goals? So that's just a page of reminders about what you want to do. And the good thing about this, there's a second page there, goes into the management of them and whether you've talked to them about U+2, them +2. But it's also, step number 6 there is also really important, because that's where you can talk to them and say, hey, listen, probably after your first week or 2, people are going to start noticing what you're doing, that there's something different about you. You're going to look different. You're probably going to have more energy, blah, blah, blah. You might want to even talk about it with people, what you're doing and how you're feeling. So if somebody's interested, you can do one of 3 things. And there's the 3 things right there. It's telling you exactly what you say to them. You can pass them on to me. You can learn how to get your products paid for. I can show you how to do that, or actually can show you how to earn some money if that's what you're interested in. So that's where you can start leading them into that conversation. And then there's the U+2, them +2, and you can talk to them about whether they want to do that. So that second page is more about the business side of it. And then if they are interested, the date that they need to hit manager by to get Crystal Manager, to get the bonus, and director and executive. And then the next page you'll see this is actually where you record the details of why they're doing the cleanse. So this is where you actually say to them, and this is the page you can print out as well, and you can say, well, what are your health goals? Because it's really awesome to get more than one goal. Obviously, a lot of our people say we want to lose a bit of weight, but a lot of them also want more energy. They want to age better. You know, they might want more mental clarity, just get rid of that fog. They might want to eliminate bad habits. They might be drinking 2 cans of Diet Coke a day, whatever it is. Make sure you get a few more than just weight loss goals ticked off there, because when you go back to them, if they haven't lost a lot of weight in the first couple of weeks, it's always nice to be able to remind them of the other goals they said to you at the beginning. If they're starting to feel a little bit, oh yeah, but I'm not shifting the weight like I thought I would. Oh yeah, but are you sleeping better? Yeah, actually I am. How's that Diet Coke habit? Oh, I haven't had one for 2 weeks. So you're actually making them feel good about where they're at before they might start shifting that weight further down the track. So that's a really good one to ask them questions about what their goals are. Question number 2 there is the real big kicker. That's, why do you want to achieve these goals? And this is really, really important, because once you've got their why, once you've really drilled down and you know exactly why they want it, when they're struggling, when they say to you, I just can't handle another shake day. Oh, I can't do 2 cleanse days in a row. Oh, I can't even do 1 cleanse day. Whatever they come back at you with, when they're not following the system like the way we would like them to, then you can always go back to them. Yeah, well, you remember when you said to me at the beginning that this is why you're doing it, and just reminding them of their why. And it might be in a message, it might be face-to-face, it might be on the phone, but at least that will just make them go, yep, you're right. Because I remember waking up every day, getting up early, going and smashing my body again for another 2 or 3 hours. And in front of me every single day, I had a list on my wall of why I was doing what I was doing. And it just gives you the motivation to keep going. So at this point, you need to be motivating your cleansers. Have you registered them in the IsaBody challenge? So straight away, you can talk to them about that. This is why we put everybody in. Great extra accountability. You're going to get free product at the end. Just finish it. You can also talk to them about who's on their support team. So who's going to be supporting them, family, friends, whatever. And this is going to lead you into, is there someone else that would like to join you on your journey? So it's a really good system to follow. You can actually put that piece of paper in front of you, get on the phone and literally ask them those questions in your own words, and then get down to that. Is there someone who would like to join you on this health goal? And then maybe you can get them on the phone with you and you can explain how Isagenix works as well and find out what their goals are. And then, of course, at the end, it's my responsibility to let you know about how you can get your products paid for, and then you can go into U+2, then +2. So that's a really good one to print out, that page. As I said, you don't have to print them all out. And then the next one, this is where they indicate that they're interested in sharing or maybe earning some additional income. So if they've indicated that, this is a really important step to go through, because your time is important. Our time, my time is important. And the last thing we want to do is spend our time with people who say that they want to do it, but they're not really committed. So, they might be interested but not committed. So these series of questions will actually help you determine where they are at and maybe how much time you want to spend with them. So go through that interview with them. It's really quick and easy. What attracted them to network marketing? What are they prepared to give? How many hours? What do they want to make in the next 60 days, 90 days, a year from now? And then on page 2, it takes you more into, what are they going to be doing? What sort of obstacles they might have? How many hours a week would they like to commit? Are they prepared to stay on auto ship? So it really just leads you very simply through a series of questions that you really need to get done with somebody who says they're interested in maybe sharing beyond the family and friends down the track and maybe creating an additional income. So that's very, very valuable. And I've actually used that separately as well when people have come on board with me. And then the last sheet there is basically what they will fill in. And this is their checklist. This is really up to you whether you use this or not, but I guarantee you that if you have them initial this at the top, And it's almost like they're making a contract to themselves. Like, you can have them send it back to you, or you can just send it to them and say, hey, I want you to initial this. I want you to print it out, initial it, and I want you to put it with your stuff, because this is your commitment to yourself. Because there's no point them committing to me or to you, because it's not about us, it's about them. And then underneath, there's a checklist of how they start. So we always say, oh, you know, how do we get started in this business? Well, there's exactly how you get started. So basically, lead by example and use the products and be a product of the product. And then it gives you the steps through isogenicsbusiness.com that they can go through. And then, of course, they can learn more about the compensation plan, and they can get more familiar with the products, go through isogenicshealth.net, register for events, and join the ISO Body Challenge again. So really, every single thing that you want to either get a cleanser nicely on their journey, ready to go and looked after for the 30 days, and then if they're interested in sharing and becoming a business builder, everything is in the new associate checklist. So it really is a brilliant document that we should all be using. And as I said, one of our tasks will be to print them out. Do that, because funny thing is, I started printing out enrollment forms and putting fresh ones in the front of my diary. And you know what happens is people started enrolling. I started getting phone calls. I started getting messages. People want to enroll. So once you're ready for something, if you're ready for it, it will come. If you want to own a car, you need to have a driver's license. If you want to enroll someone in Isogenics, you need to have your new associate checklists ready to go. Otherwise, you're just floundering on the phone going, oh, what was that question I had to ask? So have them ready to go. Cool.
Fantastic, Kerry, and it's so true when you talk about that whole manifestation of what you want. Lauren, you're the queen of that, and I'm certainly getting much better at it, thanks to you. But it's so true; it works. It's like seriously, weird. But also, I think the really important thing with the new associate checklist, and to be honest, I've only really started after Celebration using it, but it just duplicates, and this business is about duplicating. And so if we can just get somebody on board and we show them how it's done, then that's all they know. That's all they're going to do. So brilliant. Thank you for spending the time to actually go through that. And of course, why? We'll all, wait until the kids start asking stuff. We'll be throwing it back to them. Why? Why do you want to do that? So but so important. So moving on to another really important one that Lauren's going to share with us is to go through U+2, then +2. So I'm going to pass over to you, Loz.
Thanks, darling. I loved that. Everything about this call I'm loving. And Kez, I'm printing out my 10. I am guilty of not using it. So I'm going to go print out my 10 and wait for my 10 enrollments to come. So I'm going to share with you tonight U+2. This is a really fundamental part of our business. It's how our compensation plan works. So you really need to understand it. And one of the tasks, again, this week will be you will have to do a video of yourself doing exactly what I'm doing here tonight. So let me get into it. So this is how I explain it. So can you see that? So you start here. So you start on your President's Pack, you're feeling amazing, maybe you're a week in, people are starting to notice, and mum especially is really keen to lose some weight. So you introduce Isogenics to your mum, and that's your mum there. And just for doing that, Isogenics gives you a bonus of $80. How amazing is that? That's mum. So you got $80 there just for introducing your mum. Your best friend as well wants to gain a bit of lean muscle. So you introduce Joe over here, and you'll get $80 as well. Now, if you actually introduce these two people, and this is called U+2, so these two people in one working week, which is Monday to Monday, 3 p.m., I think it is at the moment, this doubles. So you've got $160 per person on a President's Pack. Now, I don't know about you, but I've spent a whole day before and earned less than $160. So just by referring your friends, you can earn this $160 and $160. So this is U+2. Now, you've just reached the first rank of Isogenics, which is called a consultant. So you will receive a $50 bonus from Isogenics. So that is a total of $370 right there for you plus 2. Now we go a step further. So you've just introduced 2 friends. Now we want those friends to introduce 2 friends. So here's Mum here. She's loving it. She's lost heaps of weight. 2 of her girlfriends come on board. You help her find those 2 people. Just your mum gets the $370, but you get a bonus of $100, which is amazing. $100 there for Mum, and same with Joe. He gets his $370, but you get $100 just for helping him do that process. So that's another $200. So we have $570. Now, does that sound familiar? That's your president's pack paid for. So there's your products paid for with a simple system: you plus 2, them plus 2. Now, you are now considered a manager, and if you can do this whole process, you plus 2, them plus 2, within 60 days, it used to be 30, but they've extended it to 60, so you've got 2 months to do this process. You have reached the rank of Crystal Manager, so you get a $250 bonus. Terrible writing, sorry about that. So all up, $820. So you can eat for free the whole month, eat for free, lose a couple of dress sizes, go and buy yourself a dress, pay a few bills, whatever it is. I mean, how cool is that? And that's how it works, really, really simple. So you guys need to know how to draw that out for people. Also, sometimes I just say, hey, if you introduce 2 friends, you get $370 back. And if they find two other friends, then you'll get $820 back. So just, you could say it really just simply like that, but you can also draw it out, especially for people who want to understand the business part and how it works. So that's it. That's you plus 2, them plus 2. Thanks, Ange.
Fantastic, Loz. Thank you. I wonder how many times you've done that.
A lot. Yeah.
See, and that's the beauty of it is, again, as Crystal and as we all talk about, the more you do it, I remember the first time, and I'm sure you all do, those that have drawn it out, you're probably really disastrous at it, and but it just becomes so natural then, the more that we do practice it. So fantastic. So what I guess
Sorry. There is actually a script for this in your back office. So you can look under resources and in business training, and you'll find this script. So it tells you exactly what to say. I just wanted to mention that. Sorry.
Yeah. And I think is that in UIA, I think is part of what we go through as well. So for those of you who are heading off and joining us for that, you'll certainly have that time to be able to go through that as well. But look forward to seeing the videos this week of everyone giving it a shot. And that's the thing, we're in a very safe environment within Team Elevate. There's no pressure for anyone. If you balls it up, that's okay. Send it in anyway, or do it again, and it does. It's, for a lot of people, I really appreciate that. It does take some courage to video yourself. Most of us don't really like doing that. So really, for last week and for everyone who did share their 30-second story, I say big congrats to you, getting out of your comfort zone and for actually doing it. And you'll evolve that. The more you practice that, the more you say it, it'll just be so natural for you. So again, well done, and I'm sure everyone will respect that, again, safe environment within here and not sharing those sorts of things around with all the world. So that really, I guess, tonight covers off all of our training of handling objections. So I'm really fortunate to have Kerry, Loz and, Crystal sharing lots of words of wisdom. What I would also really number 2 now, just quickly cover off with everyone because I'm conscious of the time, is Michelle Camp. I just want to say you are a rock star. So thank you so much for all the work that you're doing in collating all of the stuff on Google. And just a reminder for everyone for the weekly tasks, Michelle spends invests a lot of her time on Sunday to come up with our weekly winners. And just a reminder that, that there is a correct me if I'm wrong, 3 o'clock cutoff, so that she does have time in order to be able to get that weekly winner to us. So I know there are a few stragglers today, which is great that you're getting the work done, but really 3 o'clock would be fantastic for Michelle. So yeah, you do a brilliant job, and all very appreciative of that. So I'm going to pass over so that we can do our weekly winner announcements for week 3 with our focus on presenting.
Hello. Okay, so yeah, I'm so excited. It's so beautiful to watch all the 30-day, like you said, Ange. I'm loving it, and it's so fun because you get to actually know your team even even more, and there's a more of a connection with video. So I'm loving it. I'm loving all the 30-second stories. But for last week, because we're a bit late on that prize, the winner for that week was Ingrid. So I'm not sure that she's on the call, and I know why, but I'm so proud of her. She booked in 3 launch parties. She lives in Queensland. She drove down to Sydney with her babies, and she did 3 launch parties, and now she's on her way back to Queensland. So, she did amazing stuff, got all her stuff completed in on time. And so, yeah, so that's this week, last week's winner. Congratulations, Ingrid. And this week's winner we have is Manuela. I think she's on the call. Well done. You have been so consistent, and your comments were amazing this week. Great video as well, your 30-second story. And you have also presented and attended lots of launch parties this week. So we thought very fitting for you. And I just wanted to shout out to Shauna as well. I really, her 30-second story really touched me. And I just wanted to give her a big shout out, and I'll send you something special too. So they're the week's winners. Congratulations.
Well done, everyone. Fantastic. So we're now into tasks for week 4. So if I can, obviously we will have them posted, but just to run through, Kerry actually went through and did talk about printing out 10 new associate checklists for new cleansers, and again putting it out there. You've got 10, that's 10 enrollments, so a really positive one to have in your diary or whatever works for you. But so 10 new associate checklists. We also on the back end of last week, watching the ISA movie about weight loss, is this week to watch the energy and performance ISA movies and writing down your 10 people that you think, who can I send this to? Who do you know that's into health and fitness, and that may resonate with them? So watch the movie on energy performance, and then write down your list of 10 people to shoot that out to. And then, as Loz also said, go and give it a whirl of drawing out you +2, them +2. Again, the script is available in Isagenix Business, which you can certainly grab that. And not forgetting the most important thing, which is at the fundamental of our business, is find people to talk to and talk to people you find. So it really is about that consistency of your 3 by 3 by 3, sharing with 3 new people every day, following up with 3 people, and pouring love into people. Because often that whole pour of love, if you're not getting, yeses through those that you're talking to or you're following up with, at least you can feel really fantastic about, pouring love into somebody. So that's that I think wraps up. But just one last thing. I just wanted to give a big shout out to all of the leaders that have been instrumental in putting this together for us. It's this week for me now, really seeing the sort of work that goes into it. Lots of behind the scenes messaging, and in particular, Lauren, Kerry, I don't want to finger point to everyone, but you guys really for this week have been the drivers of that. So very, very grateful. I'll give my thank you. I won't be in the shower sitting in my chair, but I want to thank you for the work that you do for us in really driving these Zoom calls, and being our biggest cheerleaders for getting to this 90-day game plan completed with the results that we want to get out of it. So thank you very much.
Can I say something on that? I would just like to say to everybody who's on this call and listens to this call that if you want to be involved, if you want to kind of step up and into a leadership role, because I believe if you really want to be successful at this business, it's about becoming a leader. And I know when I first started, I just wanted to be a leader straight away. I just had one person in my team. I'm like, okay, I'm a leader. I'm leading one person, and then 2 people, and then 3 people. So if you have this burning desire to want to step up, even if you think it's going to be really awkward, just put your hand up, talk to your sponsor, talk to one of us and say, I want to be a leader, what can I do? And, we will help you.
Fantastic. Awesome. And that wasn't so bad. I'm actually thought, hosting's not really good. If anyone wants to host,
Amazing. And can I just say, I know we're running out of time, but the launch party week, what a phenomenal week. We've had like over 25 launch parties throughout the team. Enrollments everywhere, people just doing the do, busting their butts, you know, and having fun along the way. Some of us had no one turn up. Some of us had 6 enrollments on the night. So there's been a lot of consultants popping. There's so much action going on in our team at the moment. It is so thrilling to see. So well done to everybody, because it's a team effort. It's doing well. It's awesome.
Have a great week, everyone.
Bye. See you later. I'll pin the post and you can check out the tasks. Okay. Bye.
Bye, everyone.